ai một khay cát.
Hey, hi. Good evening. Vishal join.
Muted. Unmuted.
Hello. Friends, can you please meet? Hello. Hello. Friends, can you hear me?
Yes, but there is some background noise.
Yes, yes, yes. Friends, can you please be on mute? Don't mind.
Muted.
Let me keep mute. Yes. Good evening, friends. Welcome back to everyone. Everyone able to hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, yes. Thank you, friends. So let me brief myself. My name is Ravi Kanth. So I am your Selenium mentor. I'm having 30 years of experience in automation. I work for the Prolifix, Scient, and VMware. I'm having on-site experience. Traveled in California. I work there also for the same client VMware. So right now I'm giving you Selenium automation course here. So I hope everyone, some people are freshers, some are experienced persons, some are non-IT background peoples. Okay. So whatever your stream doesn't matters. Any kind of persons are eligible to take this Selenium automation course. Okay, na? So there is no matter of I'm non-IT, I was a fresher. Okay, na? Fine. So whom people can take this course? Any kind of people can eligible for this Selenium automation. Okay. What is the prerequisite, sir, to take the Selenium course? Yes, some programming knowledge is necessary to work with a Selenium automation tool. Okay. What are the programming languages you should learn? Of course, Selenium supports various language bindings like yes, Pranav, I was speaking. Friends, everyone able to hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Everyone.
You are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes. Pranav, please check your speakers. Pranav, I think Pranav is having some technical issues. Let me comment Pranav, okay? Just a minute. Hello, chat. Okay. Please check your mic. Fine. So what are the language bindings my Selenium supports? Java, C#, Ruby, Python, Scala, R language, Dart, Go programming, Haskell, etc., etc. Okay. So these are the programming languages. These are the programming languages Selenium supports. By using any one of the programming language, we can work with the Selenium too. So here this course is designed for the Java with the Selenium. This course is designed with the Java with the Selenium. Okay. So first we talk about core Java OOPS concepts. What are the core Java OOPS concepts we learn? So generally, any developers or testers to start development or testing activities, core Java OOPS concepts is necessary, is required. What are the core Java OOPS concepts will cover means like project, packages, classes, interfaces, abstract classes, access, non-access modifiers, data types and its default values, variable types, type castings, casting from a primitive to other primitive to wrapper class, one wrapper class to other wrapper class, how to typecast, we see that. And Java inheritance, okay, na? Loopings, decision making statements, okay, single dimension array, two dimension array, user defined arrays, scanner classes, debugging, strings, file system objects, method overloading, method overriding, polymorphism, Java constructors, exception handling, Java collections. All these are the core Java OOPS concepts will be learned a part of the core Java. So not only knowing the concepts, for each and every concepts, I will give some assignment practice programs also, because if you want to become as a good automation programmer means technically you must be sounds good. So like any one of the language banding you should prefer, in that language banding you must be technically sounds good. Not only knowing the concepts, using the concepts, you must build some programs, you have to execute some programs, you must debug some programs if any runtime errors occurs. So you must be technically sounds good to become as a good programmer. So if I talk about strings, in strings some programming scenarios I'll give for you friends. Yes, core Java will cover core Java, Selenium, DevOps, framework, and project. Everything will be covered here. Okay. So suppose strings and strings, some string manipulation programs are there. I'll do some assignment for you. If I talk about Java collections, for list some programs, for set some programs, for hash maps some programs are there. Technical programs I'll give for you practices. If you talk about loopings, so some pattern programs are there. Printing a diamond, printing a triangle, a right triangle, like this, some programs are there to make you hands-free on for loops, while loops, all those things. So like each and every concept, I'll give some assignment programs to make you technically sounds good. So once you technically sounds good, you can build your Selenium automation scripts. Yes, I'm not saying friends. See, let me show you the official website. Yes, correct. What the topics I listed, if you learn that, yes, you are perfect in doing the Selenium automation. Okay. The official website for Selenium was selenium.dev. See here, Selenium automates browsers. That's it. Which means my Selenium will automate only the web applications only. The applications which are open through browser is called as a web applications. So my Selenium will automate only the web applications only. That's it. It cannot automate the window desktop applications. What you do with that power is entirely up to you. The power is nothing but not a boost or not a multi or not a component. The energy is nothing but, the power is nothing but technically how strong you are. So everything is up to you. How technically you're strong, you can build your Selenium automation scripts. Okay, na? So first of all, we have to know any one programming language or OOPS concepts. Okay, na? That we will be covering all these things. And next we'll be working with a Selenium tool. In the Selenium, we use the components WebDriver, grid. Okay, let's come to this website. Here, Selenium automation tool, which provides some components: Selenium WebDriver, Selenium IDE, Selenium Grid, and Selenium RC also there. Selenium RC also there. That got deprecated. RC means remote controller. That got deprecated. Only the three components are available in Selenium. That is Selenium WebDriver, Selenium IDE, and Selenium Grid. Okay, na? The first component we have in Selenium was Selenium IDE. If you want to work with Selenium IDE, not require any programming languages. Whatever I said earlier, some programming languages not required when you're working with Selenium IDE. Yes, if you want to work with IDE, you must know how to start a recording, how to stop a recording. Before starting and stopping, between whatever statements you record, whatever the transactions you do, whatever the flow you do in application, everything is going to be recorded in a HTML format when we work with the IDE. Just you start recording, and work on your application, whatever flow you want to do. Everything is going to be recorded in a format of HTML in backend, and you stop the recording and play back whatever you have recorded. Okay, now? Yes. Here, when working with IDE, not require any programming language, but there are some disadvantages. In which browser you are recording, in that browser only it's going to be executed. And one more thing is, so some of the elements cannot be recorded, advanced elements cannot be recorded with using the IDE. All these are the disadvantages considered, and we are making use that next component as a Selenium WebDriver. Yes, by using Selenium WebDriver, we must know aware of some programming languages. By using any one of the language bindings only, we'll be working with the Selenium WebDriver. What Selenium WebDriver does, what the disadvantages we have faced in the IDE that has overcome in the Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver. If you want to create a robust browser-based regression automation suites and tests, then we have to prefer with the Selenium WebDriver, where an IDE recording one browser, executing one browser, not in many browsers. So that's a disadvantage. That's what in WebDriver, if you want to create robust browser-based regression automation suites and tests, then we should prefer a Selenium WebDriver. Okay, after developing the WebDriver scripts, browser-based regression suites and tests, then I want to execute them parallelly in many operating systems and in many browsers. So who will execute that parallelly means the support of grid only is one more component of Selenium. If you want to scale by distributing and running tests on several missions and manage multiple environments from a central point, making it easy to run the test against a vast combination of browsers, operating systems, then we want to use a Selenium grid. As short to say, what you build browser-based regression automation, some suites and tests. If you want to scale and distribute parallelly to execute in multiple operating system and multiple browser, will take support of a grid. So the appropriate combination for Selenium was WebDriver with the grid. Develop here, execute parallelly using the grid setup. So where IDE will be used for the pilot projects. If any new projects come to your company, so instant results, if you want to show the instant results to the client, okay, for the purpose we use the IDE. In front of them, we are recording and playback and showing the instant results for them. So in real time, we'll be using the combination Selenium WebDriver with the grid. Okay, fine. In WebDriver, what are the concepts will be covered? Let's open this Selenium course content. And friends, Selenium was a open source tool. Okay, now Selenium is a free and it's a open source tool. Okay, there are so many sponsors are there. They're sponsoring something to grow the Selenium day to day. There are various levels of sponsors are there. Selenium level sponsors, these are the guys are supporting to grow the Selenium day to day. And if you come down a little bit up, you click on learn more. Here we can see Selenium level sponsors, these are the guys, and gold level sponsors, Micro Focus is the company is sponsoring. Selenium silver level sponsors, these are the companies are sponsoring the Selenium. Bronze level sponsors, these are the companies are sponsoring to grow Selenium day to day. Okay, now if you want to become as a sponsor for the Selenium, yes, we can see here, learn more about sponsor Selenium. If we go here, see, the Selenium project is a member of the Software Freedom. Okay, all those things, non-profit organizations. Okay, now the majority of the sponsors funds go directly towards sponsoring the Selenium projects, such as server and software expenses. For all these things, they'll be spending dollars sponsor. Okay, money. A small portion of funds are set aside for the conservancy to continue their works in supporting Selenium and other open source initiatives. So here we can see if you want to become as a sponsor for this company, for Selenium. Yes. What level of sponsors you want? Selenium level means $20,000. Platinum means $10,000. Gold means like this. So your company also will be established in this website. Bronze means $500 like this. Okay, like this. Fine. Let's come to here. So what are the concepts in Selenium WebDriver we discussed? Yes. First, after completion of core Java, we will come to know how do we launch a various browsers dynamically. We'll see that. After that, we'll be talking about browser profiles and options class. What is this concept? Friends, here, once you are automating, so if any showstoppers comes during executions, who will take care? Everything is automation engineer responsible. Suppose you're testing one scenario manually. In that scenario, in the middle of the execution of scenario, some showstoppers comes like notifications, browser notifications comes and stops your executions. Okay, your intervention will be there when you're conducting testing manually. You can handle it and process the execution. No issue at all. If any proxy settings needs to do manually, you'll be interacting and doing necessary settings, proxy settings, and you'll be continuing the executions. But the same scenarios, when you're supposed to execute through automation, who is responsible? Yes, automation engineer is the responsible person to handle such kind of things. So in that way, what to do? We have to take a browser into our control. We have to take a browser into our control. In that case, we will be creating our user-defined browser profiles. Chrome user-defined profile, Firefox user-defined profile. So we are taking browser into our control. Then we can do necessary settings on browsers like proxy settings, certificate errors, any browser notifications. Yes, everything we can handle while creating the browser user-defined profiles. On our browser user-defined profiles, we are going to be doing necessary settings by using the options classes. Chrome options class, Firefox options class, Edge options class. Like this, we have various classes out there. Using these options classes, we can maximize the browsers, we can disable the notifications, disable information pass, so managing certificate errors, proxy settings, any kind of settings we can do using the options class. So just we have to create a user-defined browser profiles. On user-defined browser profiles, we're using the options class in doing the necessary settings on our browsers. Okay, now let's come to the synchronizations. Friends, here your application loading will take more time to load the elements, whereas automation scripts are very fast in executions. Where there is a chance synchronization issue occurs between these two, where there is a cause can be failure. Okay, now where we have to put some synchronization between the application elements and your automation scripts. Okay, so we have implicit wait, explicit wait, thread.sleep, where to sync between the scripts and your applications. We'll talk about synchronizations. Okay, and next coming to the locators. Friends, in our web applications, we can find number of web elements like text boxes, radio buttons, check boxes, drop downs, web tables, web calendars, images, etc., etc. So many web elements will be available in your application. How do we interact that web elements to perform the action? Yes, friends, each and every web element will have some set of properties which are defined by the developers. Even say example, we are the human beings. So when the one person come from the mother womb, that person also having some set of properties. Starting from baby coming from mother womb, the first property what we say, oh, baby is very colorish, very height, okay, long hair, like this we give some properties, height, weight, color, complexity. And next we keep a namakarana. After 9 days we keep namakarana. First name, last name, surname, nickname, these are some properties. Height, weight, color, complexity, some properties. Aadhaar card number is one property. Voter card number is one property. SSL number is one property. Employer is one property. how these properties are set for the human beings to identify for various regions. Similar way, for each and every web element will have some set of properties which are defined by the developers. Of course, suppose if we want to identify you, how can I identify you? With the property name. Suppose we all are employees in one company. If we want to calculate the salaries, what is the identity property there? Employee ID. If you are contesting in elections, what is the identity there for you? Voter card. So based on need, that property we are making use to identify the person or an object. The similar way, in our web application, we have so many web elements are there. If you want to interact any kind of web element, that web element have some set of properties defined by the developers. By using that properties only, we are interacting that respect to web element in performing the necessary actions. How do we work with the locators? Basic locators, we have eight are there. ID, name, class name, XPath, CSS, link text, partial link text, tag name, like these eight locators. Eight locators are there to identify the any kind of web elements. Okay, now. So basic understanding of locators. 3 hours we'll be talking on basic understanding of locators. And next, 1 hour we talk about XPath understanding. 1 day we are talking about understanding of CSS selectors. And last day we'll be talking about doing some exercises on XPaths and CSS selectors. So mostly people are identify the elements, writing XPaths and CSS selectors. I'll make you more comfort on locators. That's why 6 hours I was spending here to work on a locators. Okay, now each and every concept will be having a document, friends. Okay, and next coming to the Maven project. So friends, any project in organization you are building means we must build your projects using some build tools. We have so many build tools are there, which is Maven and Gradle. Like this, we have some build tools are there where Ant got deprecated, and only the build tools available in the market is Maven and Gradle are there. 95% of companies are using Maven as a build tool to build a projects. How do we create a Maven project build? How do we add dependencies? How do we add plugins? How do we run goals in a Maven project? How do we run a projects through Maven build? All these things we'll be discussing in a Maven project. And next come to the TestNG. Where TestNG is a Java defined framework. Any project you want to develop, we have to use some structured framework. Where Selenium itself don't have any built-in framework. Where Selenium itself don't have any built-in framework. We have to use some frameworks, which is TestNG is a Java defined framework. Let me show you in the document. See friends, here when I was navigate to the selenium.dev, official website of selenium.dev, if I go through this, yes, let me show you that. Let's click on the documents or downloads. Let me go with that downloads. Let me show that where I can show. Yes, if I come here, Selenium client WebDriver language bindings, where I can see here, you click on other languages exist. Just click on it. If you come a little bit down, see, I said, right, Selenium will support so many languages. Here, Go programming, Haskell, JavaScript, Perl, PHP, R language, one more language also came. Okay, right, these are all the languages and frameworks. So friends, programming languages are supported through Selenium drivers. These are libraries made for each language that expose commands from the Selenium API natively in the form of methods and functions. Selenium is often used for automating web applications for testing purpose, but it does not include a testing framework. Some testing frameworks that can be used for Selenium are listed below. So friends, Selenium itself don't have any built-in framework. Some third parties because I have some sponsors are there. The sponsors are sponsoring some frameworks also. See here, This is one framework introduced in Ruby language. This is one framework introduced from JavaScripting. Like this, there are so many frameworks also there, which are developed by so-and-so languages. Okay, na? These are all the frameworks. Different frameworks. Okay, the common framework which everyone will use, TestNG, is a Java-defined framework. So we'll be working on TestNG framework. Here, to work with TestNG framework, in TestNG, everything will talk as annotations, before annotations, after annotations, test annotations, listeners, parameters, data providers, like this, everything as annotations. We'll be working on a TestNG. Yes. How do we create an XML suits? Okay, now how do we run your tests parallelly? How do we parameterize? How do we set a priority for your test cases? How do we group the test cases? How do we set up the test dependencies? Okay, now how do we report it? Pass or fail or skip, all those things. How do we work with the assertions, soft asserts and hard asserts? Okay, now all these things will be discussed now. TestNG framework. How to work with the listeners? How do we run the failed test cases twice or thrice? All those things we'll be discussing about the TestNG framework. And lastly, we'll do one pilot project on this TestNG framework as well. And next, come to the page object model. Okay, page object model is the approach where itself the meaning says how well you organize the pages. You know, in our web applications, a group of pages together is called as a web application. Each web page contains some web elements and some operations. So each page level elements and operations we organize in separate Java class. Suppose in our application, we have 10 web pages, 10 Java classes we are maintaining. Each page web elements and operations I was managing in a separate Java class. Page 1, Java 1. Page 2, Java 2. Like this I will maintain. Instead of maintaining every page elements and operations in one Java class, I will make divide and rule policy, that which makes very meaningful. Yes. If any new change request comes, which page impacted, that Java class we go and change. If any runtime errors comes, which page is impacting this functionality, that corresponding Java class we go and debug. If any newcomer comes, easy to understand. Okay, so we'll work on page object model. Okay, and next, coming to the automating links. You know, majority of the elements in application we can notice as a links only. How do we work with the links in different approaches? Single link, how do we interact? Group of links in a page, how do we interact? Group of links in a specific header, how do we interact? Broken links, hidden links, how do we work with all those things? Approaches, one fine day we'll talk about automating links. Automating drop-downs. Drop-downs means where we supposed to select an option, either single option or multi-options. Selecting the options in a drop-down in different approaches we can select. One is by using send keys. One is by using select class. One is by using actions class. One is by using JavaScript executors. How we can select the options in a drop-down in different ways. One fine day we'll talk about automating drop-downs and automating pop-ups. Friends, once you are working with your web application, yes, various types of pop-ups will appear and disturbs your executions, like HTML pop-ups, JavaScript pop-ups, Windows pop-ups, security pop-ups, like various types of pop-ups will occur and interrupts your executions. Any kind of pop-ups comes, how can we handle and we process the execution? We'll see 1-2 days on about the automating the pop-ups. And next, coming to the actions class. Yes, actions class. When we go with actions class means some advanced elements which are directly cannot be interacted with the WebDriver. That kind of actions can be taken care by the actions class. The kind of advanced web elements can be interacted with actions class when WebDriver is not supporting. Like mouse overing of actions. Some of the cases when I mouse over on that particular element, some populate will be happening there. That's called as a mouse overing elements. Right clicking, double clicking, chain actions, dragging and dropping elements, automating slide bars, like this kind of advanced elements. If you want to perform this with the WebDriver directly may not identify, cannot be recognized. So in that case, we will take support of the actions classes. And next is JavaScript executor. So with the WebDriver, how we interact the web elements, similar way with the JavaScript executor also we can interact. How we can find the elements, how can we get the items, how can we backward, how can we forward the browser, how can we refresh, okay now all these things can be seen in the JavaScript executors. And automating Windows components. Friends, my Selenium 100% automates web application elements only, not a window desktop elements. If suddenly any window elements comes up, my Selenium will do hands up. In that case, what to do? Yes, there are so many open source Windows automation tools are there, like AutoIT, Sukuli, robotics, like this, etc., etc. So many Windows automation tools are there. So I am preferring AutoIT for automating the Windows application elements. Suppose when we are working with the web application elements, suddenly any window elements appears. So in that case, what we do? We'll take help of the AutoIT. We'll install AutoIT. We will write the AutoIT code. We will compile the AutoIT code. We'll get one exe file for the AutoIT. That exe file of the AutoIT, we will be associating in our Selenium WebDriver script where the Windows elements are appearing. In that situation, I will associate my AutoIT script. Then it is going to be handle the Windows elements. Okay, na? Fine. How to download, how to upload the Windows files also will show in the AutoIT only. So coming to the web tables. Friends, some of the elements will presented inside a web tables. As everyone knows that web tables contains number of rows and cells. In which row and which cell my required element is there to interact. I need to interact on the web element to perform the action or not. So first of all, we have to find the web table. Then we have to traverse rows in a web table. Then in the row, cells we have to iterate. The rows we have to iterate in the cells. So there are various tables are there. Static tables are there. Dynamic tables are there. Paginations are there. Different types of tables. How do we interact the elements? We'll see that. And date pickers, date calendars. So we are supposed to select a dates. Date is contains in a grid, right? Rows and columns. The specific month and year, we are going to be selected data. How do we select dates? Okay, na? All these things in a web tables, 3-4 days, we'll talk about web tables. And next, coming to the data sources. Okay, we are automating the steps. One scenario will have a number of steps. Every step requires some test data. Every step requires some tested data. Okay, na? Every step requires some test data. Where we can store the test data? We'll store the test data in some external sources. We have various external sources are there where XML files, properties files, Microsoft Excels. Like this, we have various data sources where we can organize our test data. Okay, na? So 6 to 8 hours we'll be working on a external source data only. And last week we talked about grid. So once you develop your WebDriver scripts, that developed scripts you want to scale and distribute, in executing that parallelly in many operating systems and in many browsers, the support of a grid only. If you want to work with the grid, we have to do one setup, hub under nodes. Hub is a kind of server. Nodes are nothing but kind of clients. Like server one, clients many, how we can, like similar way, we have hub under nodes. Okay, na? Yes. So we'll be doing the configuration like hub and nodes, and we'll use the desired capabilities, remote controller. With the support of remote controller and desired capabilities, we will inform, okay, to the grid to execute so-and-so script parallelly in so-and-so system. Okay, na? This grid setup will do for 3 days. Okay, now using digital capabilities and remote WebDriver, we'll be distributing our scripts to execute parallelly in many systems after doing the setup of grid hub and nodes. Okay, all these things we cover in this grid. So in Selenium, WebDriver with the grid we'll be talking about. And after next we go with the DevOps. In DevOps, DevOps is a culture which extends so many components like Maven, Gradle, and GitHub servers, SVN, VSS, Chef, Puppet, Ansible, Dockers, Kubernetes, etc., etc. So many components together we call DevOps as a one culture. DevOps will be used by the developers, will be used by the testers, will be used by the deployment team and integration team. Almost sectors will be using this DevOps. Being as the automation tester, okay, being as automation engineer, we also using a DevOps to automate our process. Yes, what are the components we use means Maven build, GitHub server, Jenkins. So these are the components we majorly use for our testing aspect. So Maven, any project you build, we will be using some build tools only. One of the most popular build tool is a Maven is a build tool. Any projects you develop, we will develop in a Maven build tool only. Okay. Once you build your project, the work should be accountable across the team members. So it should be in a distributed manner. See, one project will be worked by the many team members. The same project will be worked by the many team members. So the work should be accountable or not, should be distributed manner or not. So we use a GitHub server is a distributed server. I do whatever I build the project, I will commit and push into the GitHub server. So others also can pull that updated code and we can collaborate across the team members. So for collaboration, the updated codes, okay, should be maintained in the GitHub server. You can push the code, we can pull the code, we can collaborate every person. So GitHub server is a distributed server. Yes, fine. Next, once the code is available in server, so that available updated code in a server, I would like to execute the builds. The builds which are developed and kept in a GitHub server, I want to schedule for execution. How I am going to be executed? Through Jenkins. Jenkins is a CI/CD pipeline. So in Jenkins, we will be creating the jobs. For the jobs, we are informing in the GitHub server one build is there. The Maven build what we are building that we push into the GitHub server. So Jenkins will pull the build available in the GitHub server into the Jenkins, and Jenkins will schedule the executions. How manner you want to schedule, hourly, weekly, monthly. Soon after the build was committed into the GitHub server, how the manner you want to schedule your executions automatically, the Jenkins will does. After done the execution, then it is going to be send a mail also to the respect to recipients completion of executions. Every process will be thus automated. So Maven, the projects will build in Maven build that will be keep in a distributed server as a GitHub server, and Jenkins will pull that builds from GitHub server and schedule the executions and intimate to the respect to recipients of completion of the execution steps. This end-to-end process will this automation. Okay, na? And next step, we will be doing work frameworks. So, test ng framework, data driven framework, page object model, hybrid, and Cucumber. These are the frameworks. And lastly, we do the project. And benefits. Benefits you get of this training. So you'll get a soft copy material for Java and Selenium, and you'll get recorded videos for Java, Selenium, and project for 1 year you access, and source code. Daily, whatever I build the programs like Java, Selenium, and project, every source code I will be committing and pushing into the GitHub server. So from your end, you can pull the updated code from mine in your system. Source code will share through GitHub server on daily basis for reference. And doubts are always encouraged in asking the sessions. And daily classes will goes on Monday to Friday, 7 to 8. The session will goes on. After completion of Java, we'll be starting the Selenium. So, and next on weekends, I will take a weekends also for the concepts like grid, Maven, GitHub server, and Jenkins. These are the concepts which I need to make configurations. I'll take one of you as the screen presenter of yours, and I'll make it happen these settings in your computers. So practically, I'm going to give this knowledge for you all, friends. So because this 1 hour, daily 1 hour class, I can't waste for many days. So that's why in weekends, Saturdays, and I required 4 weekends I required to do these setups. Saturday, Sundays I will take, the 2 mornings I will take, our Indian timing morning, 7 to 9, 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours Sunday I will take. I will tell when the Sundays I will take this, doing these configurations, grid, Maven, GitHub server, and Jenkins. Only these concepts I'll take on weekends. Remaining everything will goes on regular classes, 7 to 8. And duration will be 2 months. 2 to 2.5 months. 2.5 months it will take. Core Java, Selenium, DevOps, framework project, everything it takes 2.5 months. Okay. Yes, everything I'll take from the scratch. Yes. Recorded will be shared daily basis. Source code also daily, whatever I build daily, I will commit the code in a GitHub server that you can pull, how to pull also everything, I'll show that. Okay. No, we can't download the videos, only the viewable, that will be 1 year. Yes, lastly, I'll share that interview questions also.
Sir, for every class, you will be sharing these recording videos in case anyone missed the class.
Yeah, you will get the recorded videos of your batch. So to enroll the course, the management will be calling you, friends. They will be calling you. Okay. So Selenium, which version we are working? Yes. We are working on WebDriver 3, sir. I will tell the WebDriver for features, sir, but in real time, we never use WebDriver 4, sir. Of course, some people are teaching a WebDriver 4, but some challenges will be there, sir, working with WebDriver 4. In real time, companies still using WebDriver 3 only. WebDriver 3 latest version, 3.141.59. That is the version, latest version of WebDriver 3, last version. That's a major usage. See, we can see here, I'll show that. MVN repository. The Maven centralized repository where every JAS, dependency JAS will be available here. If I search with the Selenium Java, we can see here, see Selenium Java, if I click here we can see some WebDriver 4 is there, series, WebDriver 4 series is there. and WebDriver 3 CEC is there. If you can observe, see the usages. See the usages. See, WebDriver 4 came on 2019, but till WebDriver 2021, it was not stable. From 2019 to 2021, it was not stable with having alpha, beta, RC versions. Of course, it came, but limited usage we have. See how much usage it's there. You can see the percentage. You know, earlier, MuTorrent, some site is there where we used to download the movie site. Leads, based on leads only we used to download, right? Based on leads only, we justify the quality of the video, right? The similar way, see what is the usage highest we have? 3.141.59, which is having 444. Highest is there. So in real time, majority of the companies have, mostly companies are working on 3.141.59. Crazy, people are teaching on WebDriver 4, but I can say the features of WebDriver 4. I can show the what are the features newly introduced on the WebDriver 4. WebDriver 3, this is the version. See, because this is open source, friends. This is open source. It's not a paid license tool, right? If the paid license means we can prefer, guarantee we can go with high latest versions. No doubt at all. It's an open source. Some compatible issues will be noticed, will be faced while working with the new versions. Okay, na? But I will tell you the features. What are the features newly introduced, which are not there in the WebDriver 3, which are introduced in WebDriver 4? That features I can discuss with you, friends. But in real time, we 100 WebDriver 3 only in all the companies. Even if you have any friends working, you can inquire also. Okay.
Selenium with JavaScript also covered within this class?
Yeah, JavaScript will be covered, sir.
Sorry?
Yes. First experience.
Okay,
Not
for only
JavaScript,
for WebDriver
JavaScript
only, we
executors,
are
sir.
using JavaScript?
No. Tell me Java, not JavaScripting. Not JavaScript. Tell me Java only. Java language.
So how this course will go? You will first teach us the core Java and then Selenium, or
Yes. We go with the core Java. After completion of core Java, we go with the Selenium.
okay? Can you just give us the brief about like how many days it will take for core Java and then for Selenium and these other part?
Yes. Core Java will be for 1 month, and 1.5 months will be goes with Selenium and project. DevOps anyhow I will be taking on weekends, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, is it mandatory to learn the manual testing before Selenium?
Not that much. You see, earlier people used to talk like manual, then we have to like this people used to talk. There is no such prerequisite. Without having knowledge of manual testing also, we can learn. Later on also, if we want, we can learn.
Sir, I want the complete package like manual, after that Selenium and Java.
Okay. So if you want manual also means please reach the management. The manual tester, one more faculty is there. Okay. You'll get the reference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please contact the management for manual testing.
Manual,
So if you want manual testing, you can join for Mr. Srinivas.
manual, then Selenium, and
Yes.
then Java.
Yes, manual testing. If you want to join means in our Durga shop, we have Srinivas is there. He's the best person who can teach the manual testing very well. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, will you be starting any other batch soon on some other timings in morning, or will it be evening only?
No, madam. This is the only timing we planned.
Okay. Actually, I asked.
If you want morning means, see, if you want morning batch means, okay, morning batch is there. That is going on. 8 o'clock is Selenium is going on. 9 o'clock is Java is going on parallelly. That was already started 10 days.
And the timings are 8 to 9 for Selenium and 9 to 10 for Java.
8 to 9 for Selenium, 9 to 10 is the Java, which is going parallelly. Already 2 weeks was happened. Started 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks.
Okay.
So this will be
Sorry.
So this will also be towards 7 to 8 Selenium and
No, this is not was 1 hour. This is 1 hour.
okay. So firstly we
This-
will be covering Java and after that Selenium.
Yes.
so this will be completely online class.
Yes, sir.
And sir, how about let's say like someone like me who is a manual tester, after successfully completing the course, how will be the confidence level in automating the applications?
Yes. This course, my course, after completion of the course, you will be in a position to face the interview. If you have any gap or if you want to put any experience, my classes will trustworthy to keep 6 to 8 years of experience. Trustworthy is my classes.
And sir, all the content that you have shared earlier in the class will be covered in the course of the.
Yes, sir. Yes. That's what 2.5 months we are taking, not like 1.5 months, like 45 days, not that. Or 2.5 months complete core Java, Selenium, DevOps, frameworks, and project. Everything you have taken is there. It takes time. 2.5 months it takes. Sir.
And you will jumpstart the Java as early as tomorrow or a couple of days of hold?
Yeah, tomorrow onwards I'll start, sir. Tomorrow onwards I'll start. It's the only demo first day class we are having. Tomorrow I'll start.
So how
the
many?
Java and
Hello, sir.
downloading
Sir.
the clips.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sir, how many? How many projects we going to do?
Sorry.
On how many projects we going to do?
How many?
So, yes, sir.
Sir, can you please bit louder?
On which topic we going to do on project, sir?
Project. Okay. On what? Okay. Fine. So one is that share market application.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Share market.
Sir, I have just one question. What is utilities in Selenium? And
Sorry?
whether it is covered, what utilities
Okay.
in a project, in a Selenium project, what is that? And where it is getting covered in this course?
Utilities means in our project, see, like utilities, what we can say, like libraries. Nothing but utilities are not. We are designing a frameworks. Yes or no? Every company will have their own set of utility project frameworks. Yes or no? Some are what we say generic utilities. Some are application specific utilities. Understanding? Suppose you 1 second. Let me take one. Okay. See, some of the utilities are common for every project. Yes or no? Like opening the browser, navigating the application, clicking on a buttons, entering a text. Like these are common utility functions. See, opening the browser, any kind of application. Any kind of application, if you want to open, first of all, you have to launch a browser. Opening browser is one utility function. Navigate the URL is one utility function. Click. Everything as a utilities I was creating as a functions, utility functions. These are the generic utilities, which will be works for any kind of projects. Yes or no? Typing the text is a common utility, right? Selecting option is a common. Yes or no? So some of the utilities are there which are specific to the application. Those are application specific utilities. Like this, I was segregating. It's all we are defining. Okay, now see, selecting a date from calendar is a yes. Finding the current stock quantity. Go to buy sell. These are the application specific utilities. These functionalities will be works for the current project only, not for any projects. Like this, everything with utility functions. Some are generic, any kind of projects like this. Some are specific to the
So these are the scripts, right? So these are the scripts which are commonly used throughout the application. Like that.
Correct. These utility functions we are making generic or some application specific. Application specific will work to respect to the project only. Generic utilities will be used for any kind of projects. Here, Yes or no? Navigating URL is common for any project. Clicking on element is common. Typing the text is common utilities. Yes or no? Like this, we create a utility functions.
Yes, sir.
Specifics. Getting? Like this, we define everything. We define like this only. Utilities functions. Reporting is one utility. Reporting failure. Logging, general log information is one utility. Reports is one utility like this.
So timing of this codes will be same, right? It will not be changed.
Yes, yes. 7 to 8. 7 to 8 is the timing. Yes.
Because in my last batch, I have observed that Twitter was changing the time after 15 days or 10 days. So it will be same, no?
Yes, sir. It will be the same only. After completion of Java, when we start Selenium, by that time I will take Selenium for class. Okay, na?
Sorry, come again?
After completion of Java daily 1 hour, when I will start the Selenium session, I will take the class for 1.5 hours for Selenium. When we start Selenium, I'll take for 1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. Okay.
Yes, for Selenium. Okay. I'll take
And sir, overall duration will be 2 months, right?
2.5 months. 2.5 months. Complete
2.5
structure.
months.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Core Java, Selenium, DevOps, framework, and project. Completely.
But earlier you're saying 2 months. And
No, sorry. I thought like when we go with parallel, I said I thought to say 2 months, but it's not parallel course, right? After core Java only, Selenium will start. 2.5
even
months.
even considering the weekends for DevOps.
Yes, exactly.
So otherwise,